Today we are going to start lesson 3 using AM and PM. AM and PM are used to show morning, afternoon, or nighttime, and you can also use them to order events by time. Now, AM and PM we should have already added to our vocabulary page in our distance learning notebook. AM is used to talk about the time just after midnight and just before noon. It's talking about the morning. Now, midnight is when the clock is at the 12 at night. And noon is when the clock is at the 12 during the day. And when it's noon, that means it is 12 p.m. And noon is the start of p.m., which means afternoon. P.m. is used to talk about the time just after noon and just before midnight. And midnight is 12 a.m. And midnight is the start of the morning. So let's take a look at these examples here. It says guided practice. Write AM or PM next to each of these questions. Number 1 says, it is 4 hours after midnight. The time is 4 what? I can see here in this picture that there is a moon. It is dark outside, so this is in the middle of the night, which is why it's called midnight, actually. And midnight is the start of the morning. So I know if it's 4 hours after midnight, it has to be 4 a.m. Now, number 2 says it is 2 hours after noon, and noon is the start of p.m. So if it is 2 hours after noon and I can see the sun in this picture, that means that the time is 2 p.m. And then we have number 3. Miss Phillips goes to work in the morning. Key word there. If you go to work in the morning, you are probably not leaving at nighttime or in the afternoon. You are leaving in a.m. So 8 a.m. is when she leaves. And Miss Phillip goes home after work in the evening, which is a time between afternoon and night. It's usually when you have dinner. So she goes home at 5 p.m. because it's after work, and normally after work means it's already past lunchtime. Now let's continue on with our practice. At the top here, it gives us directions. Read and write the time shown on each clock. Use AM or PM to show the time of the day. Explain your answers. Well, first things first, I'm going to take a look at the clock and I'm going to try to figure out what time it is. Now I can see from this red hand, the small short red hand, that it's pointing close to the 7. And my blue long hand is pointing close to the 3. The short hand is the hour and the long hand is the minute. So it is 7:15 on this clock. Now we need to find out if it's 7:15 in the morning, AM, or 7:15 in the afternoon, PM. Jason wakes up at blank. Well, when do you normally wake up? Is the sun in the sky? Is it morning? Is it afternoon? Personally, I think it should be the morning when you wake up, and it should be 7:15 a.m. Now look at this next one here. My red shorthand is pointing to the 10, and my blue longhand is pointing to the 12. The red shorthand is the hour hand, and the long blue hand is the minute hand. This tells me that it is 10 o'clock. Now I need to find out if it's 10 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's think about it. Oh, well, if it's 10 o'clock in the afternoon, that means it's in the middle of the night. Right now, I see in this picture a sun. So it's probably not in the middle of the night. It is probably in the morning. So Allison eats a snack at 10 a.m. Now number 6. My red hand is between the 9 and the 10, and my blue hand is on the 4. My short red hand tells me the hour, and my blue hand tells me the minute. If it's between the 9 and the 10, then it is 9 in the hour, and blue is pointing to the 4, which means it's 20 minutes. So 9:20 is the time. Now I need to figure out if it's going to be AM or PM. Based off of this picture, the sky is dark. And the thing here says July 4th, celebration ended at blank time. Well, let's think about it. I know that the 4th of July usually shows fireworks at night. I've never seen them during the day because you probably can't see them very well with the sun. So its celebration probably ended at 9:20 p.m. Next, we have number 7. My red short hand is close to the 8, and my long blue hand is pointing to the 1. My short red hand is the hour, my long blue hand is the minute, making this 8:05. In this picture, it is dark. I can see the moon. The lights in the park go on at 8:05 p.m. Now let's look at number 8. This clock has the red short hand between the 5 and the 6, and the long blue hand pointing to the 10. It is closer to the 6 than the 5, but it is still between those two times, making the hour 5. And my long blue hand is pointing to the 10, making it 50 minutes. So it's 5:50. Now, the sun I can see from this picture is starting to set. It doesn't look like, it looks like it's starting to rise, and I can tell that I was wrong because of what it says here. It says in summer, the sun usually comes up. So I needed to make sure that I needed to pay attention to what it says and what it shows. So the sun normally comes up at 5:50 a.m. It normally goes down at night, and it goes up in the morning. Now, number 9. The clock here shows the short red hour hand is between the 10 and 11, and the long blue hand, the minute hand, is at the 9. That makes this time 10:45. Now, so I don't get ahead of myself, I'm going to read what it says here too. The father walks his baby every morning at, so I can see the sun, it says the word morning, so it must be 10:45 a.m. Now at the very bottom, number 10, it's asking me to take the problems 4 through 9 and arrange them in the order from the beginning of the day to the end. So I need to look back at all of my times. I have 4 is 7:15 a.m., 5 is 10 a.m., 6 is 9:20 p.m., 7 is 8:05 p.m., 8 is 5:50 a.m., and 9 is 10:45 a.m. Let's think about which time comes first. Well, originally I would think that 7:15 would have come first, but the sun usually comes up before you wake up, so the earliest time is 5:50 a.m., so that is number 8. After that would be 7:15 a.m., and that's number 4. Now, I need to start paying a little more attention because the times are going to change. So I've already done number 4. I've already done number 8. What would come next? Well, just by looking, I can see that my next time should be 10 a.m. So 10 a.m., which is number 5. And then number 9 is 10:45 a.m. And now I would be going to the PM. I only have 2 PMs left. I have 8:05 p.m. and 9:20 p.m. 8:05 comes before 9:20. So 8:05 p.m., which would be number 7. and then 9:20 p.m., which would be number 6. And I officially put things in order by time. Now we have a little bit more practice to look at before we move on. This first one here says choose the picture that shows noon. If I look over here, I know that noon is 12 p.m. and midnight is 12 a.m. Midnight is in the middle of the night. So that would be normally when it's dark outside. So that does not show me noon. Noon is in the middle of the day, which would be this one. So my picture to show noon is the one with the sun. Numbers 2 and 3 want you to write AM or PM in the blanks. Number 2 says Mr. and Mrs. Smith went for a midnight movie at 12:50 blank. They returned home at 1:30 blank. Well, midnight is the start of the morning, but it's not quite at midnight yet at 11:50, which means my first one here should be PM. 11:50 p.m. is when they went for their midnight movie. They returned home at 1:30. That is after 12 a.m., which means it is now the morning. So 1:30 a.m. is when they go home. Now, a.m. can be at night because of the time when the sun is down. So it can be confusing if you think about it, but you also have to remember this part right here is very important. And then number 3, Kenneth went to the library 3 hours after noon. The time was 3 what? So if you went after noon, and noon is the start of PM, that means that it was 3 p.m. Now, a lot of the time when you're filling in AM and PM, you're using what you already know, the knowledge that you already have about your day. Now, let's think about number 4. It says, Hillary plays with Nina until 6 blank, then Hillary returns home. Now, do you normally play with a friend at 6 in the morning, or do you normally play with a friend at 6 in the afternoon? It would normally be 6 in the afternoon, so here would be PM. Number 5, after dinner, Hillary does her homework. Then she goes to bed at 8:30 blank. Now, do you normally go to bed at 8:30 in the morning, or do you go to bed at 8:30 at night? Normally, it would be at night. So once again, PM would go in that blank. Number 6, Hillary wakes up at 7 blank. She has breakfast and goes to school. Now, do you normally have breakfast and wake up and go to school at 7 p.m. or do you do it at 7 a.m. in the morning? It would be a.m. After school, Hillary goes to Nina's house at 2 blank. Would you go to Nina's house at 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon? It would be 2 in the afternoon. Now we are going to put those in order. This time I'm only going to put the number of the problem in each blank, from the earliest at the time of the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Now I know which one comes first because there was only 1 in the morning, and that was number 6. So number 6 would go here. After that, I need to see which comes next. Well, 6 p.m., 8:30 p.m., or 2 p.m. 2 p.m. comes before both of those things. So number 7 would be next. Normally you play with a friend before you go to sleep, so 4 would come after that, and going to sleep would be the last thing that you do at 5. Now it is time for you to go to your workbook pages. You'll be doing pages 107 to 110. Let me know if you have any questions about this chapter lesson.